Hey, welcome to Carlos Lago. I'm Car and Driver. Hey, welcome to Car and Driver. I'm Carlos Lago.
And I'm David Beard.
And we're talking about David's experience driving at Lightning Lap this year. Off the top, how was it?
Fantastic, as always.
As always. This is what, your sixth time?
Yes, sixth time. Yep.
So you've got a couple hundred laps now.
At least.
And each time the cars get faster and faster and faster.
More grip, more speed, more power.
But we're going to start with a return this year, and that is the Cadillac CT4-V Blackwing. Why did we invite the CT4-V back this year?
Last year we had an incident exiting turn 10 that folded up the right front suspension like a taco, and we lost a day with it. They actually brought us another car down there immediately, but we felt like we needed some more time with it to make sure we got all of it out of it we could.
Yeah.
So it returned this year.
And a reason for that is GM, when they come down and bring cars, they like to set bogeys, don't they?
Yes.
Most manufacturers do, but they're pretty aggressive about it.
GM spends a lot of time with this track developing stuff, and they had a pretty good bogey to chase down for the Blackwing.
We should call out that last year we beat their bogey with the CT5-V Blackwing.
We did.
But last year we were off a couple seconds, and the CT4-V was slower than the M3 competition. I forget what it was, the X-Drive one, but kind of makes sense there. What are you thinking about in this Blackwing right now?
After watching their development video, their driver is pretty good. And he holds it wide open throttle through those uphill S's,
really?
Which it's hard to commit. The car will do it. It absolutely will.
Yeah. But
there's always this, devil on one shoulder telling you do it, and then the angel on your other shoulder asking you to please lift. So, maybe I went through their 80% throttle just because that felt safest and comfortable to me. Last thing I wanted to do is, have another incident.
Did another one, yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine you were building up speed each time you were going through, right? Trying to find that point where it felt aggressive but still safe.
Yeah,
right?
And every time you go out, the guy on site would show you Bill's video again. Bill Wise is their development driver, and it's like, okay, I can do it this time. And you go out there and you're like, Bill's, he's a little crazier than I.
This is still such a sweetheart of a car, though, isn't it?
Oh, it's so fantastic to drive. This is actually a pretty good lap. I mean, I think trying to chase down Bill's lap, I was maybe driving it a little too hard.
Yeah.
There's a few moments when performance traction management kicks in pretty good.
Okay.
I was trying to exit corners with too much throttle. And
are you in PTM's like full boogie race setting?
Yeah, this is race 2.
Yeah.
It's not fully off everything. Race 2 is really good.
Yeah, their setup is so nice because it only comes in right when you start slowing down.
Yeah.
Right? They control that stuff really well.
Yeah, you still get some forward drive, even though, they're cutting power and doing other things with traction management.
And their bogey was 2-minute 52-second.
Yeah, 2:52.5.
And we didn't quite get there, but
like you can hear PTM popping off right there, just trying to get the throttle, get maximum drive down the front straight. Yeah, so we missed it by 2 seconds, Losing out 2 seconds to the guy who's developed the car. I'll take it.
You can live with that.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was a good effort. And a little bit of celebration there, too.
Yep.
Nice.
And it was also a second better than last year.
So now we move on to the Audi RS3. Now, this is a story about tires, isn't it?
This is tires.
So this car came with a set of Pirelli P0s.
Yeah, P0, PZ4s.
And you lapped that, and it was pretty dang quick with the new tires. When it's like 3 seconds quicker than the last gen car, right?
Yeah, I think 3.7, right?
Yeah, 3.7, I think. And then the Trofeo R tire upgrade, which I can't believe is $450 or $400. That's a steal.
Yeah, Audi's $450. It's almost $2,000 to replace them, but.
So you get them, go to one track day, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right?
You may be a couple, but yeah.
So tell me about the differences that these Trofeo R tires.
I mean, it totally just transforms the car. The car is already a little rambunctious thing, but with all the extra grip, you can just do so much more with it. You can brake later, you can get to the throttle sooner, the rear end's way more planted. exiting corners on throttle. It's amazing how much it brings the car to life.
It's a wonder what additional grip can do to a car, isn't it?
Oh,
It just transforms the thing.
I mean, it's like the car was developed, engineered to be on these tires from the get-go.
Yeah. And we already passed it, but the speed exiting the uphill S's, I believe, was third behind the Cayman and the Z06.
Yeah, well, this
is an all-wheel drive.
That's
Audi
an impressive
RS3.
thing. Yeah, you know, it's a transverse engine, you know, front-wheel drive car in its base form, and it's
3,600 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of want to see if where that sits in like the history of lightning lap times, where that exit speed sits, considering the weight of this thing, right?
Right.
And what's nice is this car's green. It's environmentally friendly. No, it's just painted green.
It's green. It still drinks a lot of fuel.
So how many laps were you able to do on these Trofeo tires?
Being that they only brought one set of Trofeos for it, I only drove this car for the morning on day one just to get familiar with it, set that really good lap on the PZ4s. And I went out and did 3 laps on these tires and did what you'll see soon is a 252.5, and that was it. It was so easy to get up to speed in it, so comfortable driving it. I felt like there wasn't much more left in it.
And that's the tricky thing too about these super, super, super sticky tires. I mean, like qualifying tires, they're fast very briefly. Yeah. Once they heat up, they're gone. And a couple other cars had that issue, and that's why we ask manufacturers to bring additional tires where possible, just so we can make sure that we get time to acclimate and also not kill the tires in the process, right?
Yep. And after 3 qualifying laps, they didn't look that destroyed at all.
That's good.
They held up pretty well.
For $2,000 a set in the aftermarket,
You'd
I would
hope
hope so. Now, the 2023 BMW M4 CSL. What are you thinking when you hop into this thing?
Oh my gosh, this is uncomfortable.
Yeah, because it has that bucket seat, right?
Yeah, which is adjustable but requires removing it from the floor, taking 4 bolts out, rocking it back.
Yeah.
And the tech on site didn't seem like he was equipped to do that, so.
It's adjustable like an engine swap is adjustable, right? Like,
right.
With the right tools, anything's adjustable. So this car you have to actually remove the seat from the cab.
Yeah.
In order to adjust the backrest angle.
You have to remove it off, move the tracks out of it.
And we, of course, have so many cars to test that we weren't able to do that, unfortunately. But how do the buckets feel?
Oh, they're super supportive. You're sucked right into them.
And this thing is hauling. This thing is so fast.
Yeah, this car is just a bullet. 543 horsepower. Yeah,
they say.
I mean, it's got to be all of 600.
They say. They count every other horsepower in Germany, I guess, these days. Because on the front straight, this thing nearly did 160.
Yeah, it's not far off a GT500, which made 760 horsepower.
Yeah. The GT500 probably came out of the last corner a little slower, but still, 760 horsepower is more than enough to.
But yeah, God, I'm just looking at the little corner video right now, and like, because we wear Simpson hybrid neck restraints, and the back of it pushes like right into the carbon fiber on the seat, and so I was kind of all hunched over it. It wasn't comfortable.
So right now you can feel how uncomfortable it was just sitting here so many months later.
Yeah, flashbacks.
Less of the driving experience, more of the seat discomfort. But tell me about the traction or otherwise the driving experience in this thing. How do the tires feel? How does the whole car feel?
Well, it's on Cup 2R, so it's a very grippy tire. And even though it's got all that power, it still is relatively hooked up pretty well coming out of the corners.
And this is a pretty large car. I mean, the M4 is a big car these days.
Yeah.
Pretty, not a light car either. Is that you're passing? Is that?
It's Dan
and the
being
GTI.
Slow.
Yeah. But how did the steering feel work out for you?
The steering is nothing to write home about.
Yeah.
It kind of, you lose the magic of the Cup 2s. You don't feel or have any sense of what they're doing.
Really?
You feel it all through the seat.
Gotcha.
The steering's really light, even in its most aggressive setting. It's just not, there's no feedback to it, which is kind of a letdown.
Yeah, and you really want that feedback to understand how much grip you have at the limits, especially when you have so much grip and so much power to really easy to overcook into a corner or coming out just there.
Yeah, when the tail end starts to come around at 90 or whatever it was.
Are you stability control off, or even like a race setting?
There's 10 traction modes in this one, and I don't recall which. It was one of the least intrusive ones. I wanted to have some, you know, safety net in the background, just because I like that. I think there was one of these cars in the U.S. and I didn't want to be the one to wreck it. So.
All right. Lastly, Lamborghini Huracan Tecnica.
Oh yeah.
This thing sounded amazing every time it went by.
This car sounds like a race car. It sounds like it's off of the, you know, Trofeo Supercar Challenger series or whatever they call it now. It is so incredibly loud.
The way that Tecnica sits, that's a really speedy entry. The way the Tecnica sits in the lineup is like, this isn't the track one. It's like it has all the go-fast equipment, but none of the aerodynamic stuff, right? Right,
yeah. So it's the STO would be the one with the bigger wings and more aero, and this is kind of a, you know, D-winged STO.
So you have nothing slowing you down on the straights?
No, it's just sheer speed, which is, it was the quickest car of all the bunch this year.
Yeah, on the straight. And the way this is like going into corners, you are going so fast on the entries, and it looks really hooked up on the entries, which has to feel really good, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
But it's so weird that Lamborghini requires you to manually upshift and downshift, isn't it?
Right.
Like,
that's kind of like adds to the experience. Like, you always have to be alert to where your RPMs are at.
Yeah. But I'm in the mindset that like let the computer upshift for me.
Right.
On a racetrack. I mean, I get the experience and thrill and all that, but at least give me the option to do it. I don't know, where do you sit on that?
Yeah, I mean, having the computer do it's great, especially when you're out here and it's something you don't want to think about.
Yes.
When things are happening so quick.
An error could cost you a lot of time on a straightaway.
Oh yeah, totally.
A lot of time.
If you bounce it off the rev limiter once, twice, 3 times, there's tenths, if not, you know, a second or two.
It did seem like you were getting a lot of seat time in this car.
I really enjoyed driving this car.
Yeah. The sessions, when I was looking at the data putting these videos together, were pretty long, which always tells me that somebody's having fun or somebody's very frustrated.
I was having a lot of fun. It also took a lot of time to warm up the tires.
Yeah. This
is the Bridgestone Potenza Race, which is a new tire. As of right now, this is the only car on these tires.
Okay.
So they're not as grippy as a Trofeo R or a Cup 2, but they're way more durable. So they do need a lot of heat before they want to work properly, which I learned going into my first flyer on the last day.
And it's nice being able to run long sessions because, you know, if the tires can last, if the brakes can last, if the temperatures can last, that means you can spend more time on track, right? That's the ideal way to do it.
I mean, I spent a lot of time in this car, a lot of hard laps, and at the end of the day, the tires still looked like they were great. Like they had, you know, not a day, but just days left in them.
Nice. Now, we should also highlight that right behind you right now is KC in the Z06.
Yes.
At what point did you notice that?
I didn't notice that he was behind me until I got out of turn 1.
Oh, really?
I had no idea. He would be behind me the entire lap. No idea.
So you weren't feeling pressure to...
No. Try to stay ahead of him? No. I had no sense of where he was. I knew that he was on the track.
Yeah.
But I didn't know he was also setting what will be his fastest lap right behind me. So.
Well, I think the theory for next year is that we'd set you guys, you know, apart a couple seconds, so you guys could chase each other, and that way would guarantee we'd get the best laps.
Yeah.
For both of you.
Yeah. So and his lap's really interesting.
Yeah.
Watching him hunt me down.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
We'll have to do a separate video on that one, I think.
Totally.
It'd be good. What are you hoping for next year?
I hope the M4 comes back.
Yep.
I would like to get more seat time in that. We didn't talk about it here, but we had a bolt go through a tire on day 1. Lost time with that, trying to get tires fixed, and we only had 1 replacement set, and then getting the seat adjusted right. Also looking forward to Mustang next year.
Yeah.
I think the Dark Horse is going to be a really good car out there. And the M3 CS, which is basically going to be an all-wheel drive version of the M4, should be just an absolute rocket out there too.
Can't wait to see it.
Yep.
Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more videos just like this. We'll see you next time.